Bitcoin bros, Bitcoin bastards, Bitcoin bimbos, and even a Bitcoin baby. Everyone showed up and showed out at the annual Bitcoin conference. Crypto nerds from coast to coast gathered at Bitcoin 2024 in Nashville. While people outside were plastered on pedal bikes, getting down to country music, or participating in a Black Lives Matter protest, the Bitcoin bros were inside. The bros were pumped, especially this guy who started doing push-ups in the auditorium while waiting for Trump to speak. These Bitcoin bros have one love, Bitcoin, and everything else is second. How broed out was the event? Well, this exhibitor was giving out Bitcoin for anyone who could do 21 pull-ups or hang for 100 seconds. There was a booth selling Bitcoin trading cards, which is actually quite smart, because if there was a Venn diagram of men who love Bitcoin and were obsessed with trading cards as a teenager, it would be a circle.
I love Venn diagrams.
Don't forget the vitamin infusions, because there's nothing more bro than not having time to hydrate and eat properly. At the Bitcoin conference, it's always bro o'clock. Here we have a natural gathering of Bitcoin bros in the expo hall, and they're sporting the unofficial uniform, shorts with sneakers, coupled with either a t-shirt or a polo. Extra points if you have some sort of political statement or Bitcoin meme on that shirt. Then there's the Bitcoin bros who think they're fine as hell and roam around in a suit. Manspreading here is not optional, it is a requirement. But how could you spot a Bitcoin bro in the wild? Well, these men are going to talk about Bitcoin's future value, mining, everything to do with Elon Musk, and of course, how they got orange-pilled. This term refers to when someone has been converted to the wonders of Bitcoin. There's another central piece of Bitcoin bro culture, Pepe the Frog. What started off as alt-right memes in 2015 just won't go away and has firmly planted itself in the Bitcoin world. Pepe was the key figure at the art gallery, from Pepe Trump to assassination murals to Pepe remakes of classic art. You could even have this artist paint you as Pepe if your heart desires. The art gallery also featured the late anti-government tech hero and legend John McAfee. You'll also see a lot of Satoshi Nakamoto, not just in the art gallery, but on shirts, hats, signs, everything. FYI, Satoshi Nakamoto was the founder of Bitcoin. No one knows who that person is. It could be a he or a she or even a group of people. That person published a paper back in 2008, with Bitcoin coming online for use in January of 2009. But it's not just bros or Pepe that ruled the exhibit hall. There were vendors showcasing the latest advancements in crypto technology, from a liquid that cools mining machines and large container box mining vessels to miniature displays of mining operations. Everything you need to get started in crypto is inside this exhibit hall. Now, you may be saying, what is mining? Well, Bitcoin transactions are placed on a digital public ledger called a blockchain. Every time a transaction occurs, it has to be verified and posted to that blockchain. To do this, a computer must solve a complex math riddle. Many miners compete to do this, but only one will win, and this person receives a small fraction of Bitcoin as their payment. This means Bitcoin uses a lot of electricity. In fact, a single Bitcoin transaction requires more than 1,700 kilowatt hours of energy. That's equal to 59 days of power of the average U.S. household. More than 240,000 Bitcoin transactions are sent over the network every single day. That amounts to more than 81 terawatt hours annually used by Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin was a country, it would rank number 39 in electricity use. That's more than Austria and Venezuela. And even though this seems large, it's actually much smaller than the electricity required for traditional banking. And although mining Bitcoin with a computer uses ample electric, the conference decided to use even more to dazzle attendees. There was this massive dome in the middle of the expo hall that flashed a kaleidoscope of images. And then there were these 90s-inspired televisions that flashed images of the event speakers. In short, this is no place for tree huggers. So what do Bitcoiners talk about? Well, you'll hear them call someone a hodl, which is someone who hoards Bitcoin instead of trading it with market fluctuations for a profit. They call people that have a lot of Bitcoin whales. Normally, these are the people who adopted Bitcoin early on. They might talk about pools, which has nothing to do with water and everything to do with a pool of miners that are verifying transactions. Let's not forget about sats. Sats are the smallest amount that a Bitcoin can be broken down into. Kind of like how a dollar bill can be broken down into pennies, sats are merely fractions of Bitcoins. Okay, but what did the presidential candidates say? Both RFK Jr. and Trump hoard themselves out hard for Bitcoin votes. RFK said,
"And I'm grateful to be part of your Bitcoin community. In fact, I don't think of myself as red. I don't think of myself as blue, and I don't even think of myself as purple. Those are the colors of the political parties. Instead, I think of myself as orange."
Trump boasted of his Bitcoin policies, such as promising to keep Bitcoin jobs here in the U.S.
"And no longer will your government sit by and watch as Bitcoin jobs and businesses flee to other countries because America's laws are too unclear and too tough and too angry and too stiff."
In Trump fashion, he promised to hold on to U.S. reserves of Bitcoin.
Does anyone know that? How about that? The federal government has almost 210,000 Bitcoin, or 1% of the total supply that will ever exist. But for too long, our government has violated the cardinal rule that every Bitcoiner knows by heart: never sell your Bitcoin, right? If I am elected, it will be the policy of my administration, United States of America, to keep 100% of all the Bitcoin the U.S. government currently holds or acquires into the future. We'll keep 100%. I hope you do well, please. This will serve in effect as the core of the strategic national Bitcoin stockpile.
He touted how much Bitcoin the U.S. owns currently.
Many Americans do not realize that the United States government is among the largest holders of Bitcoin. Does anyone know that? How about that? The federal government has almost 210,000 Bitcoin, or 1% of the total supply that will ever exist.
He took credit for Bitcoin increasing in price during his administration.
During my 4 years in office, Bitcoin surged by 3,900%, from $898 the day I took office to $35,900 the day I left. That was the biggest jump, I guess, in just about any industry.
He also promised to solve the electricity problem.
You need tremendous amounts of electricity. You need double the electricity of the entire electricity that we have right now in the United States to dominate. And we'll get that done. But we will be creating so much electricity that you'll be saying, "Please, please, President, we don't want any more electricity. We can't stand it." You'll be begging me, "No more electricity, sir. We have enough. We have enough."
But the biggest cheer for Trump came when he promised to fire Gary Gensler.
On day one, I will fire Gary Gensler and appoint a new SEC chairman.
This guy is the Biden-appointed chairman of the Securities and Exchange Commission, and he has taken a very aggressive approach to regulating cryptocurrencies. The most entertaining speaker, though, was Bitcoin legend Max Keiser. He was an early adopter and now the senior advisor to El Salvador President Bukele. The country became the first in the world to adopt Bitcoin as an official currency. Keiser's remarks on stage were memorable, to say the least.
Bitcoin is love! The central bankers! Bitcoin is love! The central bankers! Bukele! 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 Come on, Bukele! If you're not treated well in your country, leave. Get the fuck out. Go to a real country like El Salvador with a real leader, with real people, and real entrepreneurialism. The U.S. You know, they're not giving you what you want. You don't get freedom of speech. You don't get freedom of expression. You don't get freedom of, or any kind of freedom. You know, move with your feet. The voting not going to get you nothing. Walk out. Walk.
Less notables include Daily Wire weirdo Michael Knowles, who was caged like a zoo animal for people to fawn over. Then there was this guy in a gold mask who showed up to hear Trump speak. Now, if you think all of this was fun, you should have been there in person. And you can next year when it takes the show out west. Bitcoin. Las Vegas, 2025. Be there or be behind.